These are the 5 best-selling microphones on Amazon. We're gonna compare all 5 of these today, and we're gonna start with one that I have 2 versions of. So this microphone is called the Fifine Ampli-Gain. The pop filter of the microphone has a smiley face on it, which is something I really like. And it comes in black and white, and I have the white version as well. As you can see, it also comes with a smiley face. Now, by default, the microphone does come with a stand. Now, I also got some other products for this video for a few reasons. So this is the most important one. This is a microphone arm, and actually these 2 microphones here, which are like the same, just another color. The listing of this mic on Amazon that was the best selling included a microphone arm. However, since I do have the version without the arm, I just decided to use an extra microphone arm. And this is also gonna be great because I'm gonna be testing these microphones without a microphone arm on my desk like this, and then with a microphone arm with the mic in front of me. Now, before we go on, I want to thank the incredible sponsor of this video, Likt.
Likt is a music service specifically built for creators that allows you to play mainstream songs in your video. For example, I can play this song by Imagine Dragons in this video right now. Now, this is a very popular song. Usually playing a song like that in your content would either be extremely expensive, or it would just trigger a copyright claim and all your revenue would be taken from you. Likt has a library of over 1 million mainstream songs to be used in your videos, and they also have over 100,000 royalty-free songs available. Those are part of the subscription and to be used as much as you want in your content. All you have to do to get started is signing in with your Gmail account, then connecting your YouTube channel, choosing a subscription, and then you can start browsing their huge library of mainstream songs and royalty-free songs. Let's be honest, usually as YouTubers, it's pretty much impossible to use mainstream songs in your content. A service like Likt is something very fresh, it's genius if you ask me, and if you're working on an important project, let's say you're working on a documentary that you want to launch on YouTube or a very important video, then using popular mainstream songs that people recognize can increase your watch time. It immediately increases the perception of your production quality, because if people recognize a song in your content, they will think, this is the real deal. I will add my link on the screen here and in the description. If you want to use mainstream songs in your videos, Likt is the place to be. Thanks to Likt for sponsoring this video. Check them out in the description, and now back to the video.
Now, the other thing I have here is a keyboard, and that's because I want to do a few tests for each microphone. In my previous microphone comparisons, a lot of you asked me to test it with keyboard noise. So for every microphone, I'm gonna test it on the desk in front of me and then while typing on the keyboard. That way you can get a great real-life comparison. Now, the next microphone we have is the Blue Yeti X, and this one requires a bit of explaining. Now, the name of the software that this mic comes with, I think it's Blue Voice, and it can be used to add a lot of effects to your microphone, make it sound more full. So you can plug in the USB on the back, and there's also a headphone jack. This is used in case you want to monitor your microphone with your headphones while talking. If you connect your headphones to your PC and you monitor it that way, most of the times there is a slight delay. But if your microphone has a headphone jack, that will allow you to monitor it delay free. So I'm gonna connect these to my PC, and I think that the microphone should be working right now. What I'm gonna be testing today is the bass sound of all microphones. Now, you should know that there's a lot of ways to make your microphone sound different with filters in OBS Studio or just audio effects afterwards. For example, here in OBS Studio, like right now, this microphone is recording, right? I can go to the filters, and these are all filters from my previous tutorial. For example, here, the 3-band equalizer, this is literally being used to change how your voice sounds. Now watch this, I'm gonna enable the effect, right? Okay, now you're definitely gonna hear the difference. You also hear a lot of noise from like the desk and stuff, right? There's a boomy sound. Now listen to when I increase the lows here. I'm gonna do it a lot so you can definitely hear like, this is not good. And if I completely remove it, I sound like an old radio host. But you get the point, right? You can change a lot right here. So you should keep that in mind while listening to all these microphones here. What this video is mainly about is finding the microphone that records the best soundscape. There are some cheap microphones that record a lot of bass, and then many people think, wow, this is a great microphone, but the reason is that it sounds very boomy and very bass-like, but it just records a lot of bass. However, oftentimes you can find another microphone that records a more full soundscape, like more low sounds, mid sounds, and high sounds, and then you can use filters like these to add a bit more bass, make your voice sound a bit more crisp, or maybe a bit less crisp. If you're in an echoey room, removing the mids a bit will definitely help. So I just thought that was something important to share with you. And actually, for that reason, I'm not gonna install the software Blue Voice, because there's a lot of other similar tools out there that work for all microphones. For example, this here, this is amazing in OBS. By the way, these OBS filters can also be used in games and Discord and like other voice chat programs, like everywhere. Or of course, live on stream. I will link the tutorial in the cards in case you want to check it out. It goes over all filters in OBS Studio, so all these filters right here. I will also link it it in the description. But this microphone was also on the bestseller list, and this is also from Blue. It's the same company that made this microphone here. This is more expensive. The price will be on the screen. I think this one here is around $40 to $50. I will put the price on the screen as well. And I mean, this is an old classic. I did start my YouTube career with this microphone. The name is written on the top, the Snowball Ice from Blue Microphones. Let's quickly plug it in so we can test it. I'm always curious to hear the difference between these mics. Okay, I think it's recording right now. Yes, I can hear it in my headphones. Now, this microphone has a big downside like some other microphones. First of all, it's close to your keyboard, which will record the noise. But second of all, since it's pretty far away from your mouth, you will have to boost the volume a bit more compared to a big microphone like this that's closer to your mouth. And because you're boosting the gain of this microphone a bit more compared to other mics, it's also going to record environment sounds louder. However, if you use a microphone arm and you bring them both like this, then that will be a much better comparison. And as I said before, we're gonna test all of that. Now, the next microphone, this is a surprise that it was between the best sellers. Well, actually, it wasn't a surprise because it's a very cheap microphone. And I think that the reason it was between the best sellers isn't that it's gonna be a good microphone. The reason will probably be that it's a normie microphone and that it was cheap. So I am extremely curious. I'm gonna plug it in. Okay, so this is the bare bones sound of this microphone. It sounds very, very crisp, especially the S sound. And I think I'm shouting because I had the headphones on. So like this, you can get a great listen of what this microphone sounds like. There is a mute button right here. So I'm using another mic right now so you can hear me, but the mic isn't recording, and like this, it records again. Now I'm gonna try to make this sound as good as I can because it's a very cheap microphone and some people don't have the budget to buy a $40, $50 microphone. A $50 mic is considered a budget microphone, but for a lot of people, like $50 isn't a budget mic. So I really want to give this a go. And the mic has a really big advantage. It's very close to your mouth, especially if you position it like this. So I'm gonna add a few filters. Okay, so what you hear right now is a microphone with a bunch of effects applied. Now, as you will definitely hear, it's a big difference. And that's what I was talking about before. You can do the same thing to these other microphones. And that's the reason I just want to test them with a normal bare bones sound, because otherwise my effects on all these different microphones will be influencing your decision, which isn't the point. You should take the microphone that sounds the best by default, and then afterwards add your own effects to create a lot of bass if you like it, to remove the bass a bit if you don't like that. But anyways, this microphone definitely doesn't sound like crappy, but there's a big problem. It clips really fast. So right now it's pretty far away from my mouth. What I would like to do is position it something like this. However, as you will probably hear, it's clipping right now, and I'm not really talking that loud. If you would be streaming and you're like, holy, that play, it's gonna be clipping a lot, and there's no way to fix it. I tried to lower the gain of the microphone, it didn't fix it. It was just clipping while being very quiet. So the only fix is position it like this, a bit further away. If you like the sound of this, you can definitely get this mic. I think it's $16 or $17. Now, the last microphone we're gonna test in this video is the Tonor TC30 Plus, and this microphone is a complete kit. Now, it's the weirdest packaging I've ever seen. Now, what are they doing? Look like this. This is an empty compartment, and then we have the microphone arm right here. Now, this is pretty much like all cheap microphone arms you can find out there. It's gonna be the same thing as this microphone arm, so we don't really need to use this one. I'm gonna use this microphone arm of the Tonor mic for all the other mics. This is a microphone arm you can buy on Amazon for around $20, I think. But if you have the budget to buy a decent budget microphone of around $50 and then spend an extra $20 on this microphone arm, it's absolutely gonna be worth it. And that's the best way to get a good budget sound on your videos, your streams, everywhere. As you can see, they will differ a bit, but they're very, very similar. All these budget mic arms, oops, they're the same. Now, let's see what else they give with the mic. As I said, this is a weird packaging. Okay, so this is the Tonor microphone. It comes with a pop filter, and it looks like it's positioned like this on the microphone. It is very tight, so this is probably intentional. And then we also have the desk clamp and then the USB cable. So the microphone arm shoves right into this, then the clamp shoves onto your desk, you tighten it on the bottom, and look at this. We can now connect the mic to that, and boom, we're finished. Oh, and before I said that the pop filter was pretty weird because it was pressed on top of the microphone. But the reason is that this shock mount here is just a bunch of elastics, and you can push the microphone a bit to the bottom. So that way the shock mount is gonna absorb all vibrations that go from the desk through the microphone arm, which happens a lot, especially with cheaper microphone arms. However, even if this is vibrating, it goes to this plastic here, but then those vibrations are not going to reach the microphone because these elastics are here, and they're completely absorbing all the vibrations that go from your desk to the arm, to the plastic, and then to the elastics. It doesn't reach your mic, which is a big plus point. So it comes with a USB-C to USB cable. We plug it in on the bottom. Okay, let's test the mic, and it should be recording right now. Now, I don't know if the gain is right. Hello, hello. Okay, that's definitely too much gain. Now I'm gonna move a bit because I did connect this at a weird position. But as I said before, with a microphone arm, the mic can get really close to your mouth. I'm not really sure if I like this microphone a lot. I'm gonna have to listen to all the tests that I'm gonna record. But in my opinion, right now, it sounds a bit flat. Now, of course, again, if I enable this filter, it's gonna sound a bit more bassy, definitely more broadcasty-like. But I think some of these other mics that I'm gonna test will sound a bit better. We're gonna see when we compare all of them, which I'm gonna do right now. Alright, so it's time to test the microphones. And what you're hearing right now is the first of the 6 tests that I'm gonna do for each mic. This is the second test here. So the first one was the microphone on the desk like you would use if you just buy the mic and then start using it. And then the second test is the microphone close to my mouth, how it would be if you would buy a boom arm and then bring the mic much closer to you, which will definitely make it sound a lot more full and warm. Now for the third test that you're currently hearing, as you can see on the screen, I made a very simple EQ effect. Now this will not be optimal for every microphone out there. However, with these effects, by the way, this currently is test number 4 with the effects and on a boom arm close to my mouth. But with these effects, you will definitely hear the difference between the microphone without effects and then with. As a short example, this is without the effects, and then this is with the effects, without the effects, and with the effects. Now for the 5th test that you're currently hearing, I brought out my most clicky keyboard and I put it on the desk in front of me, and with this we're gonna test how much of the noise gets picked up by the microphone while it's on the desk. Now for test number 6, I will bring the microphone closer to my mouth and I will probably hear that the keyboard sound is gonna be a bit more subtle because the mic is much closer to my mouth, which means that my voice is way louder than the clicky sound in the background. So the next microphone is the Blue Snowball. It's on my desk right now and I quickly listened to it and I think it sounds a bit worse than the previous microphone. Now this could obviously sound different when hearing it in the video because right now I'm hearing my own voice and then I'm also hearing like what the microphone sounds like, so it's a bit hard to judge. This again is a test with the effects applied. Now I really want to press that the effect I'm applying isn't optimal for all the microphones. However, I did take a pretty basic EQ effect. This is the microphone with the effects closer to my mouth. But as you can see here in the EQ effect, the only thing I did is I boosted the highs a bit to make it a bit more crisp. Then I did lower the mids a bit here because this will make the microphone sound a bit more like a studio microphone. And then I added like a very slight boost to the lows, but I'm really afraid of doing this because a lot of these cheaper microphones boost the low sounds by default because a lot of people like a boomy microphone. So if you boost the lows a bit for all of these mics, it's probably not gonna sound perfect. Then this is a test with the keyboard noise. Now the thing I've been trying to say the whole time, I keep getting distracted by talking about these tests. But the reason I'm applying the exact same EQ effects to all of these microphones is that if I would apply different effects to all the microphones, then you wouldn't be able to judge which one sounds the best because I could just apply better effects to one microphone compared to the other. So it's really important that with these tests you hear all the microphones in the same exact scenarios. Alright, then the next microphone we're testing is the cheapest one by far, and the testing of this mic is gonna be a bit different because I can't really put it closer to my mouth on a boom arm. It's pretty close to my mouth by default. However, since this mic sounded very thin and it had a lot of background noise, it's gonna benefit greatly from adding these effects that I'm applying to all of the microphones. It's probably gonna be the biggest difference by far. However, if you remember from before, this mic was very sensitive, so if I would be shouting, even if it's pretty far from my mouth, like hey, it's probably going to peak the microphone. So because of that, if you're a loud gamer or a rager, you're gonna have to put the microphone a bit further away from your mouth because this way, like hey, I can probably shout a bit. So this is what the mic sounds like if it's a bit further away at the safe distance. So the last test of this microphone is the keyboard test, and I can only do one of them because I can't really put the microphone closer to my mouth to remove the keyboard sound or reduce the keyboard sound better. However, actually the only thing I can test is moving the microphone back to the safe distance, and just because I know that this mic will be appealing to some of you, I will add all of these filters here: noise suppression, the EQ, maybe the expander and the compressor, and I will just keep talking. The keyboard sound is being used, and this is what it will sound like further away from you. This is again what it sounds like without me typing on the keyboard and just talking into the mic. And then this is me talking loud, and that's gonna be it for this mic. Okay, then microphone number 4 out of the 5 is the Blue Yeti X. This is the most expensive one in this comparison, is the most expensive one in the best-selling list on Amazon. Now, something I didn't explain before in this video is that the reason I'm testing the keyboard sound is that different mics have different polar patterns or pickup patterns. So what a polar pattern is the way the microphone records your voice and where it is recording
from this mic, for example, records from the front here and not really from the back. Now for a lot of these cheaper mics, this can't really be changed. However, let me take the microphone closer to my mouth for test number 4. On the back here, if my editor zooms in, you will see a button and you can change the polar pattern or the pickup pattern here. So for this specific microphone, you can choose if it has to record all the way around the microphone, like the whole room, or only from the front. Or this mic, for example, also has a mode to put it in the middle between you and another person, and then it records from this side and from this side, and then not really from the side. And how effectively the microphone cancels out noise that's coming from the back of the microphone determines how loud your keyboard sound will be when you're talking from the front and the keyboard sound is coming from the back of the microphone. And then this is test number 6, and holding the microphone close to your mouth is going to be the best way to make sure that the keyboard noise is as silent as possible, because this way, as I explained before, your voice is way louder than the keyboard sound. And you should also know that there are effects that you can apply with the filters that will make sure that when you're not talking, all sound, so also your keyboard, is going to get muted. I recently made a video about these filters. I will link it in the description. It goes over all of the filters that you need to make your microphone sound more full, make sure that the keyboard sound is being muted when you're not talking, all that stuff. Now the next mic here is the Tonor TC30, and this is a bit different because by default it does come with a microphone arm, so you don't need to put it on your desk, but I did just listen to it and it sounds very thin and flat. Now just because it's so bad with this microphone, I want to show you live what happens when I boost the volume of the low sounds. So these are the two effects I use when I test these microphones with the effects. However, with this specific mic you need to boost the low sounds a lot, and I don't really hear it right now, but I think this sounded way better. But I mean, you can do this with the other mics too, so if you want to hear what it sounds like compared to the other ones, this is how I tested the other ones with effects applied while being close to my mouth on a boom arm. I think there are better options between these microphones and this one here. I'm gonna type on my keyboard to test how much of the sound it picks up. This is without effects applied, of course, like all of the mics while I tested my keyboard, and I want to let you decide which mic you think sounds the best, because in the end it's about finding a microphone that sounds the best to you and then adding your own flavors to it with effects. Let me know in the comments which of these mics you thought sounded the best. I will link them all in the description. Now I will add the OBS Studio filters tutorial next to me, because that's one of the best ways to improve your microphone. Maybe you already have a mic and you're watching this video to find a better one, but maybe you just need to apply some effects to make your mic sound better. So definitely check out that video. Do you want me to test more microphones, like once every 2 weeks, once every month? Let me know in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Have a nice day.